ඒක ලස්සනයි. මගේ දුර මොකද්ද මේ? එහෙමද? සතුර එකක්ද? ඕ ආ ඒක. හ්ම්. right මම listen to me carefully. උනාහ ගන්න. ඔයා දැන් බලන්න මේ පාඩමේ නම මොකද්ද? What is the topic of our lesson? Symmetry. What do you mean by symmetry in Sinhala? සමමිතිය. මොකද්ද? Right. Your first subtopic is bilateral symmetry. What is your first subtopic? Bilateral symmetry. The Sinhala meaning is Dviparshika Samamitiya. Right? That means you can divide, right? You can divide this figure into two parts according to this axis. Understood? Right? You can divide this figure into two parts. No? Then what happen if you fold this figure that means the figure means this plane, right? You fold this plane to this side, it coincide each other. Coincide කියන්නේ එක මත එක පිහිටනවා. Fold කියන්නේ නමනවා. If you fold this like this, it coincide. Am I correct? Right. That means this part area වර්ගඵල ඉඩ is equal to this part. No? Right. This is the line that divides these to two parts. No? So we call this line as axis of symmetry. What is that? Axis of symmetry. We call this line as axis of symmetry, right? Then look at these figures carefully, right? There are a lot of axes of symmetry in these figures. Can you see that? Right. Then, but this figure has only one axis of symmetry. No? So this figure has only one axis of symmetry. That means it can fold along only this line. No? Right. But this figure is quite different. Why? It has two different axes of symmetry. Right? Is this bilateral symmetry? Right? Bilateral symmetry means this figure has to be folded at least one. එක පාරක් හරි නවන්න පුළුවන් නම් bilateral symmetry තියෙනවා කියන්න පුළුවන්. Right? If this figure can fold along this axis and have two equal sides, that means this figure has bilateral symmetry. Understood or not? Right. Is this figure has bilateral symmetry? Yes, this figure. Yes, this figure. It also have, no? It can fold around this one. No? Then what happened to this? What happen if I fold this along this two here? Right, it has many axes of symmetry. Right? It is not a problem here. It has many axes of symmetry. Understood? But we need to find only one. Can you find one here? Yes, you can find one. That means this is also bilaterally symmetrical figure. Right? Figure pintura. Figure. This is also a bilaterally symmetrical figure. Right? Then, right? Let's move further. Right? You have to read this part. Right? You have to read this part. Right? You have to read this part. If a plane figure can be folded along a straight line, if a plane figure, what do you mean by plane figure? Plane figure is something like this. This is a plane figure, right? If a plane figure can be fold means no, right? Folded along a straight line, so that you get two parts which coincide. You know the meaning of coincide, right? These two parts coincide, no? Right, coincide. Then that plane figure is defined as a bilaterally symmetric plane figure, right? If it coincides, we can call this as what? Bilaterally symmetrical plane figure. Understood? Right. The line of folding is defined as an axis of symmetry of the figure. What is that? Line of folding. This is the line of folding. No? This line of folding is defined as an axis of symmetry, right? They have given that the axis of symmetry is this line, right? Okay, then understood this part clearly? Nice. Then let's read this part. In a bilaterally symmetric plane figure, the two parts on either side. What do you mean by either side? දෙපැත්තේ. Two parts on either side of an axis of symmetry are of the same shape and same area. These two have same shape and same area, right? But the figure depicts a triangle with a dotted line drawn across it. That means this dotted line. Consider this one, right? This line divides the rectangle into two equal parts. Am I correct? This line divides two equal parts, no? Right? Those two parts are equal, no? But, however, if we fold the rectangle along the dotted line, what happens if we fold this along this line? Will it coincide? The parts will not coincide. That do not coincide, right? That means like this. Give me this book, right? If you fold this along this line, right? Is it coincide? No, not coincide. That means this line is not an axis of symmetry. Understood? That means this line is not an axis of symmetry. Right. Then carefully look this part. A line through a plane figure which divides it into two parts. A line through a plane figure, right? A line. Think about a line, no? It should be on the plane figure, right? Line on a plane figure which divide it into two parts. It should divide into two parts. Understood? Right. It divides into two parts of the same shape and the same area. Same shape and same area which do not coincide with each other, not an axis of symmetry, right? But this did not coincide, no? So this is not an axis of symmetry. Understood? Nice, right? Let's move along. There are some activities. I know that you can understood this. Copy the figures given below, right? You can copy this, no? Right? Copy and then on a paper and you can cut it, right? Cut the shape, right? Then you have to find bilateral symmetric figures, right? Then draw the axis of symmetry, right? Paste on the book, right? It is a simple activity, no? Right? Let's move further. Exercise 1.1, right? From the following, choose the bilaterally symmetric figures. From the following, these ones, you have to choose the bilaterally symmetric figures with a correctly drawn axis of symmetry, right? Maybe this is a bilateral. Is this bilateral symmetric plane figure? Yes. This plane figure is bilaterally symmetric, but this is not the correct axis. No, this can be folded along this line, no, like this. But this axis is wrong. No. So they ask you to find, from the following, choose the bilaterally symmetric figures with the correct drawn axis of symmetry. Correct axis of symmetry. This is a bilateral symmetric figure, but this is not the correct axis. Understood? So, right, then you have to write down the corresponding letters, the related letter, you have to write the letter, right? Can you do that? Right, before that, let's discuss this part, right? Is this bilateral symmetric figure and this axis is correct or not? Yes, this is a bilateral symmetric figure and the axis is also correct. But this one, it is also correct. Here, correct. Here, no, this is not correct, right? Then here, no, here, no, here, correct. Here, correct. Here, the figure is symmetric in this axis, no, but this is not the correct axis. Here, correct. Here, correct. Here, nice. You understood this, no? This is easy mathematics lesson, no? All right. Then uh, part 2. Look at this one. Cut out laminas of the following shape using a tissue paper. You can cut out this no by drawing this. It is an activity you have to do, right? Draw all the axis of symmetry of this, right? Let's discuss what is the axis of symmetry of this one along this part. No, you can fold it like this. Then here you can fold it along this. Here, this, and this. You have two axes of symmetry here. This one you can fold along this, right? This one, this one, this one, this one. There are many, right? You are correct. So tell it, right? Paste all the figures having axis of symmetry. Then question 3. Cut out laminas of the following shapes. Don't move here and there. Cut out laminas of the following shapes using paper. Draw all axis of symmetry of each of them. You have to draw all. This one, here, this one, this one. This one has only one. No, this length is short and these two are long. No, so cut out dimensions of the following shapes using paper. Draw all the axes of symmetry of each of them. Then A, B, rectangular shape, and write that all. It is easy. No, you have to cut that then. Write the number of axes of symmetry. Can you write? You can write. Then create another symmetric figure by joining two figures of the shapes given A and B. You can join these two figures. No, this triangle can join here. No, then you can cut along this axis. Right? Right. Create another symmetric figure, right? You can do that. Then question 4, write the statements below in your exercise book and mark tick in front of the correct statement and mark cross in front of the incorrect. Right? You have to check whether is it correct or wrong. Then the first one, in a bilaterally symmetric figure, the two parts on either side of axis of symmetry are equal in shape and area. Is it correct? It is correct. Nice. Then here, next one, there are bilaterally symmetric figures having more than one axis of symmetry. There are bilaterally symmetric figures. No, we saw that figures. No, having more than one. Did you see something has more than one symmetry? Yes, there are. Then it is correct or wrong? Correct. 3. The number of axes of symmetry in a circular lamina, that number of axes of symmetry in a circular lamina, is greater than the number of axes of symmetry in a square. Yes, it is correct. The square has only 4, right? But circular lamina has 100,000 millions and billions of them. No, we can draw many. Right. Then the maximum number of axes of symmetry in a bilateral symmetric figure is 1. Maximum number of axes of symmetry in a bilateral symmetric figure is 1. Maximum is 1. Is it correct? The maximum number of axes of symmetry, axes in a bilateral symmetric figure is 1. No, there are many. Right? Then here, if a bilateral symmetric figure which has at least two axes of symmetry, look at this carefully. If if means whenever num, a bilaterally symmetric figure which has at least figure ke aduma tarame තියන්න ඕනලු මොනවාද two axes of symmetry aduma tarame දෙකක්වත් තියෙන එකක් නම් is cut out along one axis ඒකක් එක axis එකක් දිගේ කැපුවොත් නේද and divided into two equal parts කපලා දෙකකට වෙන් කරොත් then each of these parts are two parts two will bilateral symmetric ඉතිරි දෙකත් bilateral symmetric. Let's check with it a figure, right? This have two axes of symmetry. Am I correct? Right. I cut this along this. Now this is two parts, no? This part is symmetric, no? Here, this part also symmetric, bilateral symmetric. Then they ask that, right? Cut along one axis and divide into two parts. We divided. Then each of these parts, those two parts, also bilateral symmetric. Correct? No? Right. Then only this is the wrong answer. Right. Is there any problem? No. Right. Then there are some activities in this book. it is easy, right? I think you can think this along. You can draw the, if you have given this part, can you draw the other part? You can draw, no? It is a scholarship exam paper, more than easier, right? No. uh, right. Exercise 1.2, copy figure A in your square ruled exercise book. You have to copy figure A and figure B, right? uh, the dotted line indicates the axis of symmetry. Place a mirror. You have to place a mirror here. කන්නඩියක් තියන්න මෙතනින් නේ. ඊට පස්සේ පේන විදිහ අඳින්නලු නේද? Draw the complete bilateral symmetry figure. You can draw that now. Then repeat the above steps for figure B and complete bilateral symmetry figure. Right. These are easy. Right. Did you understood this part? Nice. Right. Now you have to refer this note again and do the exercises by your own. Can you do that? Right. Uh, Start now.